Yoo-hoo again. Obviously, I start every video like saying yoo-hoo, so here he goes. Let's see who's gonna join. This is the second one of the live feed where I'm gonna talk about messages from the animals. So, and today I'm gonna be again. I'll give you a little background. I wrote a book 2011, and it's never been translated in English. So I thought that it would be cool to give you guys some messages from that. There's tons and tons of different messages from animals, and there's a lot more than I have written online, and clients that have given me permission to share their stories and all that. So there is like tons of different messages, and well, I have to say this: if you don't know anything about animal communication, what I do, how I do it, what it is, do you think it's like something completely beyond something that you can understand or whatever? We have a group here in Facebook. It's called Sacred Animal Wisdom and Silent Healing, and you can go there. You can join the group. There's tons of videos where I explain what is animal communication. Also, you can find all those videos from our YouTube channel. There's like tons of already ready, like step-by-step explanations about what animal communication is and so on. So you can get some kind of an idea, and maybe if you're interested in learning, you don't have to join a workshop or anything. You can find all the information. The funny thing is, one I don't remember, somebody said a couple days ago that I was listening to that it's everything you ever want to learn, everything you ever want to, accomplish, you can find information online for free. So therefore also, we want to teach you guys for free. Anyway, I'm gonna be, because I have to translate this while we go. So I'm going to be, it's the second chapter of my book, I believe, where my past horse talks to me about, emotions and different kind of things, how we people look at life differently than the animals. And I'm gonna talk to you or go through what she says, this couple pages. I am trying these videos that I'm now doing daily for at least a couple weeks, or if something happens that I can't do it, then we just have to skip and do it the other day. But anyway, I'm trying to stay under 20 minutes, since usually I get excited and I can talk for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever. Okay, horse's name is Leila, and she talks to you about emotions and feelings, how, feeling and emotion. And she says, to learn about emotions, you first have to know what that word actually means from a horse's point of view. What are the emotions? Where do they come from? How can I change my emotions, and how can I use my emotions to my own benefit? And this is horse talking now. This is not Maiccu talking. And then she says, before we can start going through individual emotions, it's good for you humans to know and understand emotions like in general better. Let's take that mark of the book. Every time that I read my book, it's so funny. It's like reading it for the first time myself. It's wild. Since I can't take any credit for the book, it's all the animals. They've given the messages, so they need the credit also for it. Well then, where are all these strange emotions coming from, and what do they mean? And she says, you humans, you have lots of different words for the emotions. If you ask me, the horse, we need to survive only few emotions. We don't need that kind of a huge strain of like many emotions that we humans. And then she says, well, you humans, you are not that much different from us horses. And then she says, she always talks about this herd of wild horses, and she teaches a lot of stuff. When I wrote this book, she was teaching me personally. She's teaching me to look at the herd of horses, wild horses, and how they act and react and so on, so that I could learn stuff for my own life. So she says to me here, look at the wild horses. What kind of emotions those horses are going through, and where are those emotions coming from? I'm going to tell you how things are in this herd of horses. The horses in this herd, they love each other, they love the sun, and they love the land that they are grazing on, the big land that they are. They love the peace, and they love the absolutely perfect cycle in nature. Now you human, you say, well, they might be feeling fear or sometimes even rage when they fight over who's in charge of the herd. And she says, no, they do not feel fear or rage. They are emotions that you humans have created. And now you are trying to all possible means to also move your own emotions or reflection of your emotions to the horses. So she says, everything that they do originates from love. In the perfect cycle in nature, there is no room for anger, hatred, fear, or worry. And nature always lives in a perfect now moment, just like these horses do. And she says they act in a fraction of a second by the every single moment what that every single moment needs, kind of a thing. And I hope that I'm translating this that you guys can understand. And then she says, sometimes these horses run away, but they don't run away because they fear, but they run away so that they could save their lives, their independence, or sometimes even their freedom. And she says, running away is not fear, it is only a reaction. Everything in nature and in the world of animals, like in here, is perfect. And she says, animals never live their lives pre-planned. They never plan. They like this herd of horses, they never plan their life. So if you people could learn something, if you could learn something from this, your life would be so much easier. I understand that in your world there's like lots of schedules and plans and all that, but in midst of all that and midst of all life, it would be so much easier if you when you're making a plan, you could still let it play out as, you know, it would play out in this particular moment. So not like I understand that she means that not get angry or sad or frustrated if the things doesn't work as well. Let's see. And she says, when you do your best every moment of every life, every time, you have done your best, and then everything's perfect. And she says, but when you guys realize that everything's perfect and the moment is perfect, what do you do after the perfect moment is gone? She says, you go aside, you start worrying again, and you start thinking over and over again how much better I could have done that moment that's already passed if I'd done it this and this and this and this way. Well, example, I go to a beach and I'm watching a perfect sunset, and I'm like, oh, this moment is perfect and I love this moment. And then I go back home and I'm like, oh, I should have brought this blanket. I should have brought something to eat. I should have brought a bottle of wine, which I personally don't do, but you could have done. So I should have my perfect partner to make this moment perfect. You guys get the picture. Yeah. Now you actually have to understand that this moment is gone. It's never going to come back. All the time that you use for worrying, and all the time that you use worrying is perfectly wasted time. All the time that you worry, that's time wasted. And she says that time you can actually start planning if you have to put something instead of worrying. She doesn't like planning either, but he said the planning is even better than worrying. And she's talking about, again, the herd. I'm trying to just figure out that I don't read the whole thing. Well, she says, okay, let's look at the herd of horses again. Why is it running away, and what is it running away from? And she said, when the herd, comes across a threat, what happens then? And she says, at this point, I want to talk to you about the intuition. It's very hard for even her as a horse to find the right words to talk about human emotion and how to relate it with the horses. She says that in her opinion the horse herd is the best teacher. Well, since through that we can imagine better. And she says, look at the herd in your mind and see what is it coming from. And she says, well, see and imagine it's running away from a lion or a coyote or some, predator animal. And she says, horses never saw the threat. They never saw the other animal that is preying them, but they've sensed it and they've, kind of felt it. And the herd comes anxious and they start moving more and more. At the same time, when the lion attacks, they are running away. But how do they know that the lion is dangerous, or how do they know that they have to even run? She says they know this intuitively. Animals have this intuitive knowing. And says that thousands and thousands of years these horses have built their intuition so that they know what is not good for them. And then she says something very interesting, that when one of the horses are left behind, it's like some of the horses is old or something and gets eaten by a lion. The other horses, the herd, is not feeling hatred or anger ever toward that lion. It says the horses only, in this particular moment, they only feel love. Love for their companion that was eaten and love for the lion. They don't ever feel revenge or anything like that. They know that this is the law of nature and this was meant to happen. They never feel bitterness or and then she says something. Then never try to figure out how to run faster the next time. Like we human, if something threatening happens to us, we try to, think, how can we do it better next time? How can we do it better next? They know that it's just a normal, perfect cycle of life. She says, intuition is born from love and trust. This is, it's kind of a long chapter. If I want to stay under 20 minutes, I need to hurry up. Then she says there's one little, thing that when the horses react differently, when the threat comes from us humans. And when we, it's not a natural threat for them. So when we get there and, start hurting them or hunting them or whatever, it's completely different. And that's what we don't understand. We are trying to be, gods of the nature and everything, and we don't really allow even the nature takes its course. And I was thinking that many times I've been thinking that, of course there's some, reason for us to be here, but it would be so much easier if there were no humans on the planet at all. So what she says is that we as humans, the animals usually have love, they have, and then there's the reaction. And us humans, we have so many things that we have. The other emotions are like, bitterness and animals do feel sadness, but it's different kind of sadness and sorrow. We kind of start, staying in the sadness and sorrow and worry and fear and, what other people are going to say about me and those kind of things. So we have so much to learn from them. And the intuition is very, very important thing that she uses. And she says that, like us humans, we have also envy. And envy is a big thing and all that. So it's like we should have to stick with positive emotions like joy and compassion and excitement and so forth, and that let those kind of emotions dictate which way to go. If we feel bitterness, do not go that way in your life. Let's try to, because usually negative things that we feel come from things that have already happened to us. Like, think about it. If you feel hatred towards something or someone, that is something that have already happened. You can't feel hatred towards something that's never happened to you. All the negative emotions in our life come from something that have already happened. Is in somewhere in the past. Bitterness, hatred, sadness. Sadness is sometimes. Sadness comes from love if we've lost somebody that we love. But then there's other kind of, I'm sad because I lost all my money. You can't think that you're sad because you are going to lose your money or you're gonna lose your job or something. It's something that already happened. Okay, let's see if there's something. She asks, why are you people feeling and thinking? Because we have to think first to, feel the emotion, and that's the thing that it is so humane, it is so normal, and it's so it's so natural for us people. She says we can learn to avoid the negative emotions. We can learn to live without them entirely. And she says they are not really even real emotions. They are like almost like an illusion. And to learn the intuition from the animals. I'm teaching intuition as animal communication to my students, but everything I have learned, I've learned from the animals. And then she says, I can finish with this. The herd of horses is never making up emotions or do something for just like, what is the word, mielijohteesta, just like, for fun of it. they know intuitively, instinctively, always which way to go. Everything that happens to the herd happens now, here and now. Everything's real. They don't have to use imaginary emotions or imagination to cope from day to day. They follow their intuition and they create their life as it is, moment by moment, and it is always perfect. What does that tell you? She asks. That should lead you to think and contemplate this moment. Do you understand? When you live in this reality, you follow your intuition. She says, heaven comes on earth and everything becomes perfect. When you start making up stuff and feeling negative emotions, everything turns upside down. And she says, when we live from negative emotions, no, not at least not our biggest dreams or enthusiasm can never come true when we live from negative emotions. You know, to say it a little bit differently, you don't never have to live from your dreams, in your imaginations, somewhere in your, you know, you don't have to do that. When all your dreams and intentions and all the things that you want are already here and now. As you know, when they are here when you follow the voice of your heart. I don't know if I translated well, but she pretty much said that when we follow the voice of our hearts, that's another thing that I could talk to you about like endlessly. Everything comes perfect and everything comes real. But when we are thinking everything that happened in the past, it's we so easily get entangled with all the negative emotions. Okay, guys. I'm gonna post here also on my Facebook, the YouTube channel, so you can watch all the past live feeds that I've done, and you can learn about animal communication more, and you can always contact me through my email, maiccu@animalstalk.fi, if you want to ask any more questions. And I can see that our Satu have learned to click the heart many times. It's so cool. And you know, guys, I love you all, and I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed message from Leila, please share. You can share it with your friends. And thanks for watching, and thanks for listening, and greetings to Rotterdam, to Lena too. Thank you for being here. I love you, everybody, and I think you're wonderful and beautiful the way you are. Mwah.